The days of catch and release and open borders are over, patriots. President Trump has unleashed ICE with full force, conducting massive raids across the country. They're sending shockwaves through the illegal immigration networks. From Mississippi to New Jersey to California, ICE agents are rounding up illegal aliens and shutting down businesses that employ them. But that is only the beginning. We've been talking to you about this. Our sources in Washington, D.C. have shared us critical information that we have passed along to you and is now bearing fruit because the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has just delivered a message that has the cartels trembling, declaring that nothing is off the table when it comes to securing our border, including potential military strikes in Mexico. Meanwhile, President Trump has secured the extradition of 29 Mexican cartel bosses who are now facing life in American prisons. While our brave ICE agents are fighting to secure our border, many Americans are fighting a different kind of battle, one against chronic pain that feels like an invasion of their daily lives. If you're suffering from debilitating aches, you need to know about Conolidine. Yes, it's the only natural solution that optimizes your body's endorphins for full body pain relief without dangerous medications. This revolutionary compound has already helped over 1 million Americans and countless professional athletes conquer pain without side effects or addiction. It's fully legal, it's drug-free, and backed by 14 years of clinical research. Visit trycono.com/NNN. It's linked down below to experience relief for less than $1 a day. And we thank our sponsors for keeping this show going, and you as well for watching and sharing. This is the story from Breitbart News. DOD Chief Pete Hegseth does not rule out strikes on fentanyl labs. Breitbart News. Let's dig a little bit deeper here. Here it is. What? All these ads popping up. Give me a break. Defense Secretary Hegseth does not rule out strikes in fentanyl labs in Mexico. It says here, he said in a recent interview with Fox News' Laura Ingraham, anything's on the table. The commander-in-chief ultimately, with my consultation and with the chairman and others, will make those determinations, but nothing's off the table. Our sovereignty will be defended. He said his message to the cartels is we're taking nothing off the table. We will do whatever it takes to secure the American homeland, to maintain our sovereignty, protect the American people. He made the remarks during a visit this week to Guantanamo Bay, where President Trump has authorized the military to temporarily detain illegal aliens crossing the U.S. southern border before sending them back. The base has been used for decades as a holding place for migrants and asylum seekers. And what else have we got here? There's currently 30,000 beds available at the base, but there are currently only approximately 25 being held there. So nothing is off the table, including attacks, direct attacks on the labs in Mexico. Okay, here it is. This is what he said to Laura Ingraham.
Commander-in-Chief.
What's your message to the cartels? They're watching all this. What's your message to them?
Oh, my message has been from the beginning, we're taking nothing off the table. Nothing. We will do whatever it takes to secure the American homeland, to maintain our sovereignty, and protect the American people.
Does that mean you're ruling out potential strikes inside of Mexico on fentanyl labs that we know they exist, and we know where they exist?
No, I don't think I ruled anything out. Anything's on the table. The commander-in-chief, ultimately, with my consultation and with the chairman and others, will make those determinations, but nothing's off the table. Our sovereignty will be defended.
Military strikes inside Mexico, not off the table. ICE raid in Mississippi leads to 16 illegal alien arrests. This from Plethora LLCB 24 hours ago. While raiding a concrete contracting business in Pass Christian, Mississippi, ICE agents saw a large group trying to flee out the back. 16 illegal aliens arrested from Honduras, Mexico, and Guatemala. Worksite enforcement full effect. No more hiding, no more loopholes. The law is being enforced. Here is a photograph from that arrest. Yep, bye-bye. They will keep the beds warm in Guantanamo Bay. Oh, we got some great news, too, from our friend Ben Berquam from Real America's Voice, his show Law and Border. Listen to the great news from Ben.
So I've got an update for you. I was actually scheduled to go out and link up with Border Patrol again and embed with these guys down on the border. And I got a call saying there's nothing going on. The border is secure right now. And they said, let's postpone it and we'll figure out another time. I'm going to be going out with these Borstar guys, doing some night ops and having a good old time finding the bad guys. Now, the cartel's not stopping, but what this shows us very clearly, in under a month, President Trump secured the border. Joe Biden and the Democrats said it couldn't be done. They said it was outside of their control. And what we know is they controlled it. It was all part of Secretary Mayorkas's controlled flow, Secretary Blinken's welcome centers, the NGOs that were profiting off all this, Catholic Charities, Lutheran Social Services, Jewish Family Services, the communist churches like Lincoln United Methodist Church in Chicago. All of these organizations, Al Otro Lado, Pueblo Sin Fronteras, Centro Sin Fronteras, all of these organizations and thousands more across America and around the world aiding and abetting the invasion of America. And within 1 month, President Trump and his team, Tom Homan, Kristi Noem, have secured the border. That's what America First looks like.
Thank you for everything you do, Ben Bergquam. Make sure you follow him on X. He is always at the forefront. And we also have this. ICE is performing raids in California, and somehow a guy with a megaphone shows up. Listen to what happened.
Answer their question.
If they don't have a warrant, you do not need to talk to them.
You don't have to answer their questions.
You do not have to answer any questions. Let them slide the warrant under the door or put it up to the window.
Where you can see it clearly.
It has to be signed by a judge. They can have their own warrants that are not signed by a judge.
They're not valid.
They are not valid.
Yeah, so we have American citizens actively obstructing ICE. And we got this lawyer too, but there's also this. This is from AOC. This was just 9 hours ago. AOC sending a letter to Attorney General Pam Bondi demanding clarity on whether the DOJ is investigating her for advising constituents on how to avoid ICE raids and deportation. You know what this tells me? The AOC is freaking out. Are they investigating her? Yeah, she wants to know if she's going to get swatted in the middle of the night. Here's the letter. I write to request clarity on whether the DOJ has yielded to political pressure and attempts to weaponize the agency against elected officials. Oh, really? Yeah, we know all about how agencies can be weaponized against political officials, don't we, AOC? You guys wrote the book on it. And here's a lawyer, U.S. immigration attorney, says she has credible sources that have confirmed ICE office quotas and details about raid targets. Well, I'm glad they've got quotas. But here she is sharing the info to help illegal migrants avoid mass deportations and making sure they're prepared to remain silent, similar to how the fool with the bullhorn was.
That are in the United States. Breaking immigration news, my credible sources have confirmed that each of the 25 field offices of Immigration and Customs Enforcement must make 75 arrests daily. And if they don't, those officers risk being terminated from their job. So they are very much wanting to keep their job, and they are going after the 3 categories of people that they're looking for first. People that have serious criminal records that are in the United States, people that have final removal orders that have not left the United States, and people that have removal orders have left and re-entered the United States without permission. Remember this, because they are going to be so geared to make arrests, that you have to understand that you have rights to remain silent. You should have downloaded a Know Your Rights card at this point, and if you are encountered by immigration, you have a right to remain silent. Yes, you can give your name, but after that, it's silencio. Like and follow. I'm Gloria Cardenas, the immigration queen.
Okay, we'll get that right over to Tom Homan for aiding and abetting criminal activity in the United States. And speaking of which, we have this TikTok user who created ICE maps, a site giving exact locations of ICE so that illegals can avoid mass deportations, is now leaking inside upcoming ICE raid locations. And the question is, how is this person not in prison?
From within the hospital. This is for people who live in Baltimore. If you live in Baltimore, please pay attention. I got a tip from one of my followers who DM'd me, letting me know that they got a tip from somebody that they trust, that supposedly Johns Hopkins Hospital should be expecting ICE to show up there this week to conduct arrests in relation to deportations. We don't know exactly what days it's happening. And again, this person that reached out to me and gave me this tip says that this information is from a trusted source from within the hospital itself. So this message is really important. I'm going to repeat all of this in Spanish for those that listen in Spanish. Este video es para mis seguidores de Baltimore.
Okay, thanks for that. Yeah, so now you know we have another person who's aiding and abetting the criminal activity. And speaking of criminal activity, here it is. This was 22 hours ago. Tom Homan, Border News, breaking in New York. As I stated from an earlier post, Mexican cartel leaders officially landed in New York. All 29 on board are looking at life in prison. Here's the moment. Perp walk happening in real time in New York. You know, what kind of frustrates me about this is that, yes, we extradited them. Yes, they're criminals. But now they're going to live in prison, life in prison, and the taxpayers are going to have to pay for it. Isn't there a better way to deal with this? I don't know. Let's get to the news cut on this. Rapid response, 47. Trump secured the extradition of 29 Mexican drug cartel bosses to face charges for their crimes. Let's listen to the Fox hit.
Will appear today 2 of the 29 cartel members who were just extradited to the U.S. from Mexico, including one accused of killing a DEA agent back in 1985, will appear in a New York court today.
Chanley Painter is here with all the details for us. Chanley?
Hey, good morning. So at least 2 of those defendants will be arraigned today in Brooklyn federal court, according to Reuters, including a drug lord who is alleged to have been among those responsible for the murder of a U.S. DEA agent, Enrique Kiki Camara, in 1985. This comes as Mexico on Thursday handed over 29 high-profile drug cartel members to the United States as part of an unprecedented extradition as the Trump administration ramps up pressure on drug trafficking organizations, illegal immigration, and fentanyl production. According to prosecutors, the prisoners face charges related to drug trafficking and, in some cases, homicide, among other crimes. And among them are members of 5 of the 6 Mexican organized crime groups designated earlier this month as foreign terrorist organizations by the Trump administration, guys.
And it's long overdue. So we're going to wait and see what happens. Are we going to have airstrikes in Mexico? It's not off the table. In fact, as we reported maybe a week or so ago, Michael Alfaro brought this information to us. That these are real conversations being had, and here we have Hegseth only confirming what our reporting presented to you a couple weeks ago. So, lots of good news happening, especially from what Ben's saying here, that the border is like crickets, right? So this multi-front offensive against illegal immigration and the cartels represents the Trump administration's no-nonsense approach to one of America's most pressing crises. The results are already showing. Border Patrol agents in New Mexico report so few illegal crossings that scheduled operations were postponed. And that's what happens when a country enforces its law and protects its sovereignty. The extradition of cartel leaders, including those responsible for killing DEA agents, sends a clear message. The United States will no longer tolerate the poison and crime flowing across our southern border. From ICE raids to potential military action in Mexico, America is finally taking security seriously. So here's a question for you. Do you think these aggressive tactics will finally bring the border crisis under control, or will the globalists and their activist allies find ways to obstruct these efforts? Maybe I'll answer that question. With USAID getting shut down and all the funding not going to all these NGOs anymore, I think it's all going to come to a grinding halt. I want to hear your thoughts, though. And show your support with our next news gear in the merch shop. Grab a hat or a shirt and show the world that you stand with the Next News Network.